Yep, this is a flip cam.
I look great, I'm sure.
Well, you just got pepper sprayed, right?
Yeah, I was pepper sprayed.
Okay, can you tell me who you are?
Yes, I'm Zuppelli with Rochester IndyMedia, and I'm also doing video work for a legal collective called Eyewitness Video.
Okay, and tell me about what happened this afternoon.
Well, we were out filming a lot of the permitted march initially, and then we saw there was Campus Action Network students taking to the streets opposing the war and doing various snake marching through the streets, through traffic, and dance party. They had a lot of music and they were dancing at various intersections around Wabash and 7th and down near that bridge there. I'm not from this area, so I'm not great at the locations, but it went on for a little while, you know, a couple hours on and off, and they stopped and they ate, and then they would kind of take the streets again. And at some point while we were in the streets right along Wabash, they brought out, I mean, they had riot police trailing the whole time, but they really surrounded on bicycles, horses, you know, the riot police on foot, and then they had the National Guard backing them up.
Okay, so at first were they allowing the kids to be dancing in the streets?
They didn't stop it initially, you know, and they didn't I didn't really hear orders to disperse. I didn't hear that they were like redirecting it. They were just kind of like allowing it to happen, I think so, and chasing it around.
And then after a while they surrounded you with?
They surrounded people and they gave one order to disperse, and
after you were surrounded?
We were surrounded from two sides, not from, you know, only two sides really, so not fully surrounded, and then they just started moving people back, like in the street, but back in their formation, back, and with the National Guard backing them up. And then they were kind of selecting. They arrested one kid right away. They took him down. I can't see like how they had him, but they had him kind of down on the ground and arrested him. And then the chemical agents came out. They were spraying just directly at the crowd, the red canisters of pepper spray. They did the larger ones of tear gas. Then they did one of those like really loud, I don't know if it's a concussion grenade or what it is. I think that's worse. It's a
noise grenade. Probably.
Noise grenade, and it smokes and it makes a lot of noise. Yep. And I'm not sure if they were rubber bulleting, but they also had these green pepper balls that they were using to target people. So they had hit a couple people.
Can you describe what a pepper ball is?
Well, you know, I'm not really sure. It's hard to look at these things as they're coming at you, but you know, I think it's also a chemical agent. At the same time, it has color, so when it hits, it disperses like a green powder that like stains the clothing, and that's what I saw. Is like clothing was stained and marked with that.
And how large are these pepper balls?
I don't know actually.
Okay, and you got hit with? I
got hit right directly with pepper spray canister while I was standing on the sidewalk. I had just gotten out of the street, and these bike cops were behind us. I was with another producer from Democracy Now! Who's a friend of mine, and he said, you know, move, and we said there's nowhere to go, and he just did a direct hit from behind us, which just covered my arm and you know, some of my side, and I'm really lucky I didn't get that in the face, because I can't even imagine how horrible that is. It really does feel like you're just under a flame. So I tried to wash that off, but it still just lingers.
Okay. And you were wearing your press badges?
I was wearing press badges, and I was on the sidewalk at the time. And I'd follow on and off. I'd be in the street and I'd be on the sidewalk, and if anyone asked me to leave, I would leave. But I was like filming everything that was going on, which I definitely feel is, you know, protected journalistic right. And it was absurd because when they did finally stop this, it marched off into, you know, it got surrounded and taken down. The marchers did, in a parking lot that was just inundated with riot police, and they arrested two producers for Democracy Now!, a pepper spray editor, which we're really bummed about because he's one of our best editors we're working with, and tons of activists. And then when Amy Goodman came to get out her producers, she was arrested. So they arrested Amy Goodman within like 3 minutes. Not even. No, it wasn't even 2 minutes. She came in. Dennis Moynihan from Free Speech TV was like shouting and saying, you know, this is unconstitutional. He has journalistic rights. You just took one of our producers. We want him out of there. And then Amy tried to like confront the riot police and get beyond them to talk to her producer, and they pushed her back, and she moved forward again, and they grabbed her and arrested her.
Huh.
And her charges, and all these people are being charged on rioting charges, and there was at least about up to 60 in that parking lot.
And what time of day was this?
What time is it now?
10 to 7 now.
Oh gosh, I guess, you know, it's been going, it went from about like 1 until, I would say the takedown was probably about 5 in that parking lot, but they're probably still detained. We had to leave because of the burning before we could watch everyone get taken. One kid did have a wound to his head, and they bandaged him, and I think he probably was hit with a club.
And you think this parking lot was on Wabasha or
no,
on Jackson?
This is where we ended up on Jackson between 8th and 9th. That's where it got rooted to when it was moving through the streets.
Okay.
And corner.
So you didn't see any of the action that was on Kellogg then at about the same time?
No, we tried to get there, but we never got beyond that. Yeah.
Okay. About how many people were dancing?
I would say maybe as many as 80 at the largest, maybe at this particular intersection, and it was oscillating, you know, like larger numbers, and then people dispersing and getting cut off and going on other side streets. So it could have been at times like up to a couple hundred.
And I've heard about windows being broken and police car windows being broken out. Did you see any of that action?
I did not see any property damage. I did see people putting barricades in the road, trying to break, you know, trying to disrupt traffic, which was obviously one of the tactics here today. And it's really ridiculous because we went to a press conference with the police at a random moment when we were coming back from all these arrests, and they're saying how well it was handled and what criminal elements, you know, these groups are using. And I think that the message is pretty clear here, that these are not the criminal elements to be in the street, to be dancing and to be resisting, you know, this administration and the policy and the war. And that's what these kids, you know, are outraged about. And so I'm really proud that they were out there brave to fight this thing.
Okay, thank you. And
Thanks.
Could you identify yourself once again?
Dawn Zuppelli, Zuppelli.
And you are a journalist from IndyMedia.
Independent journalist.
Thank you.
Thanks.